All right, today, people, I'm going to be covering third eye self-care. Now, this is something I know a lot of you are really interested in, and I don't blame you because it's a very interesting part of life, the third eye, and it's a connection to so many things in this world, our psychic abilities, intuition, things like that, and our ability to actually focus, like practical things, being able to focus on tasks, being able to think clearly, not have brain fog, all that sort of stuff can be really helped and improved with an open third eye. Right, so I'm just going to qualify why I am able to talk about this and how I've gone about opening my own third eye, what I've used, what I've learned along the way, what I found that has been a huge hindrance in the third eye, what actually damages the third eye, and some of the benefits that also come with having an open third eye, right? So I first woke up 11 years ago, and it wasn't too long after waking up politically that I started getting into spirituality, experimenting with meditation. And like so many people, I had such a hard time focusing, but I didn't give up. I kept going. And on top of all of my thousands of hours of body mind practices, I have extensively researched this subject, read books on people that have experimented with this kind of stuff. I've also got deep into Qigong and read a lot of the literature there that's come out of China, and extensively just researched the subject of psychic powers. I've spoke to people who have claimed that they have psychic powers and all this sort of stuff. I do believe this is like the natural progression for humanity. This is where we're supposed to go in our evolution, or at some part in our past we used to have these powers, but for some reason we've lost them. So the most important three things that you can incorporate into your life if you want to have a more healthy third eye, the number one priority is clean water. Now, you may look at water that comes out your tap and it looks clean, it's clear. But I can assure you, from having traveled all over the world, most tap water is not clean. It may be drinkable, and you're not going to die instantly from drinking it. And if you are a normie, or if you're someone who doesn't care about the psychic side of life, the energetic side of life, it's not really going to bother you because it won't actually affect you that badly. Most tap water, it's not great, but it's a lot better than what people in Africa are drinking on in general, right? So there are levels. So if you just want to survive, it's okay. But if you actually want to thrive and unlock the potential of being a human, then you need to get really, really good, clean water. I personally only drink bottled water, and of the bottled water, I have my favorite brand, which is Volvic. However, this is not the best water I've ever drunk in my life. When people have like a natural spring just on site and they have the correct way to get it into their system, into their house, into their whatever, and it's not stored in a massive plastic tank above ground, get mashed by the sun, which is very common in Australia, and you can almost taste the plastic. So clean water, number one, the most important thing. And I can actually sense when water is not of good quality. If I'm drinking bad quality water, I can feel it in my mind. And it's a blessing and a curse, I assure you. However, as I'll cover in the other series of these videos, or at the end of this one, if you're watching the full version, then you will see there are a lot of benefits from embarking on this journey. So clean water, number one. Number two, some sort of body-mind practice. Now, I personally have gravitated towards meditation and Qigong, and the two, they complement each other so well. The better you get at meditation, the longer you're able to hold your focus, the better you are at Qigong, because focusing is a big part of it. But exercises like this, specifically body scanning for meditation and just Qigong in all of its variations, are amazing for opening the third eye. I can remember the first time I ever did a Qigong practice, and I'd already been meditating a little while. I come out of it and I'm just like, wow, I can feel this energy flowing through me. I can feel my third eye. There's like, you'll know when you're starting to get there because there'll be this pressure. And it might not feel that pleasant actually. At first, it could just feel like, I don't know, like there's just someone pushing down on this part of your body. But over time, at least for me, the sensation changed, and it's actually quite nice. And on the whole, in general, I can feel that my third eye is actually, it's quite pleasurable. What meditation Qigong does, it sort of stimulates your energetic body, especially body scan meditation, and that in turn creates more energy flowing through the body, and then it allows you to then tap into the higher parts of being a human. You can't tap into all these amazing parts of being a human if you're low on energy and your actual subtle energy bodies are weak, or your aura is weak, or however you like to phrase it. Your chakras are closed, your dantians are blocked, however you like to phrase it. You've got energy flowing through your body, then that is a really, really good thing. And now the third thing, although there are many other things you can do to open your third eye, and maybe in later videos I'll go into more of these, the third most important thing I would say is grounding. Now you can literally just go barefoot, walk onto the grass, that'll do it. Sit there, do some breathing, or just look at the stars, look at the sun, what time of day, do some you could do some meditation with grounding, combine the two. That's really, really good. And if you are feeling like your head is a bit hot, like if you feel, and I feel that this just sort of cleanses the body energetically. The grounding energies of the earth come into your being and they go all the way through you. So you don't actually need to put your head onto the ground, but you can do that too. If you just want to get a little bit more of that beautiful grounding energy directly to your head, you can literally just do a child's pose and just go straight onto the ground and just put your forehead there. And if you're anything like me, you can sometimes just feel the energy flowing into your mind. It's really, really nice. So they're the 3 top tips that I have for you for third eye self-care. So now let's get into the 3 things to avoid. Up at the very top is alcohol. Now, this may not come as much of a surprise to you guys, because most people know that alcohol isn't really that good for you, but nobody really does it because it's good for them and do it because it's kind of fun. I personally went 6 years without alcohol. And the reason I stopped was because my third eye was getting opened. Meditation was really getting into a big part of my life. And I wouldn't even enjoy alcohol anymore. I'd have a beer and I'd instantly get a headache. It was just not a fun experience. So I went pretty extreme and I just completely cut it out for 6 years. And there's a story of how I got back into it. It's not a tale for this video. However, what I have noticed now that I have an open third eye, but also a very solid state of consciousness, a very grown soul, or an embodied presence inside of myself, alcohol doesn't affect me as bad as it used to. However, there is a big difference in the kinds of alcohol. Usually, I've found the cheaper, the worse the quality, the more it can shut down any sort of stuff happening up here. Thankfully, though, after all of this progression I've made in my 6 years, I do bounce back quite quickly. However, if you're just getting started, or if you want to, take it to the maximum, yeah, alcohol isn't that good, obviously. But things like spiced rum, Bacardi spiced rum specifically, I've noticed that barely has any impact. And I wake up and I barely have a hangover at all. I wouldn't even know that I've had a drink. But if I drink like some fruity Record Lick cider that's just from the shop down the road, that could just boom. That you can just feel it in your mind, right? So alcohol, it's probably best to avoid that. Or if you're going to just get the best quality of whatever it is you're drinking. I actually found that vodka for me, I haven't had good quality vodka yet, but low quality vodka really isn't very good either. So just a few things to be aware of there. And now this is an interesting one, right? Because this is something that I've been able to detect with my third eye, that certain screens are way worse than others. Just to give you an example, you can see this here. This is an iPhone SE. Now, I found that the radiation coming from this phone is far, far less than this phone, which is an iPhone 8. And although the iPhone 8 is actually a better phone in many ways, apart from it doesn't have the AU export, the radiation coming off of this is significantly more. And how do I know that? Because I can feel it. And now that is really, really useful, because a lot of people, they sort of sit on their phone like, it's nighttime and it's like, and then they're like, why can't I fucking sleep? It's like, well, maybe if you was a little bit more conscious on the screen that you are using, then you will see that the radiation coming off of it is actually worse depending on the phone. If you are having issues with sleeping, for example, then there is something to look at, the screen that you are using. Now, some people, they're okay. And this is where we get back to if you just want to survive or you want to thrive. Some people seem perfectly fine. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. They could be with their phone screen and then they could just fall asleep like that instantly. It's amazing. It's like a superpower. However, if you are having trouble or if you're looking into opening your third eye, just be aware of what screen you're choosing. I use the SE for just basically all of the practical stuff, and just use the iPhone 8 when I need like a better quality camera. But yeah, that's how I've mitigated that. And I've noticed that Windows tends to be a little bit less fun to look at. I have a MacBook Pro. I've got the 2012 version, but it's been refurbished to its maximum performance. I have no problem looking at this. I could look at this for hours and hours, and it doesn't seem to affect me nowhere near as much as looking at that phone, the iPhone 8, just for 10 minutes. So it's really interesting. I thought I'd share that. I'm sure that could help some people. And the number 3, possibly the worst thing that anybody can ingest if they want to open their third eye, is fluoride, especially artificial fluoride. So that means you've got to get fluoride-free toothpaste. EcoDental is a really good brand. I'd highly recommend that. And then you've got to stay away from fluoridated water. Artificially fluoridated water is toxic, man. It is the kryptonite to your third eye. It will shut it down faster than anything that I've ever experienced. I remember once when I was in New Zealand, 1 glass of fluoridated water that I had at this woman's place, boom, shut down. My third eye's like, whoa, nah, not having that. Instantly, I lost my dreams. Instantly, I had these headaches. Fluoridated water is poison, man. Artificially fluoridated. Naturally fluoridated doesn't seem to be such an issue, I found. But artificial fluoridation of the water supply is a serious, serious issue. And thankfully, in the UK, only about 10% of us in England currently have artificially fluoridated water, and there's been a great pushback against that. We seem to be okay in general right now, but in America, it's prolific. In Ireland, in New Zealand, in Australia, it's pretty prolific. So you've got to take measures to mitigate that, either get bottled water or some sort of filter. But there are ways around it. But it's just a third eye killer. Right. So we've covered what you can do to open your third eye, what you want to avoid if you want to have an open third eye. Now we're just going to get into the benefits of having an open third eye. Now, one of the most interesting benefits that I found that's really awesome is more intense, vivid, and frequent dreams. So when I'm in a good momentum and a flow, I'm looking after my third eye, and maybe I'm even doing a bit of dream journaling or whatever, but I'm in the dream zone, I can have incredible, vivid dreams. And I'm talking about like watching a movie, and it can last for ages, and it has a plot and a storyline, and there's a message, and it's like a movie. Somebody sat down and thought about this, and there's someone directing it, and there's characters, and it's incredible. And that's just one of the benefits of having an open third eye. Having a better connection to your dreams can benefit you in so many ways. It can benefit you practically. It can give you warning signs of something that's about to come up that you might need to, be aware of, or it can give you inspiration. You can get messages or guidance or visitations from divine beings, all this sort of cool shit. So that is something that I found was quite useful from having an open third eye. Then number 2 would be better intuition and thinking in general. If you've got a clear and open third eye, you are better able to tap into the higher parts of being a human. And that means that you can actually use that to your advantage. You can tap into your intuition more. And then over time, you can sort of learn to figure out what actually is your intuition, what's coming from your ego, what's coming from whatever. And you can get better thinking in general. You can tap into higher knowledge. You can tap into gnosis, knowledge that hasn't been received yet by anybody. You can bring it into this realm. You can contemplate and bring forth new information, which is really, really cool. And then thirdly, just to wrap this up, I believe with an opened third eye, you can have a better connection to God. With these higher centers clear, flowing, the energy's flowing. This would tie into the crown chakra, the top part of your existence. In Qigong, it's just the upper dantian is the head. But if you've got these centers clear, the energy flowing here, then you are a vessel. You can channel God into this reality. You can also have a better connection to God. You'll have a higher vibe, so you've got more chance of your prayers being answered. You've got better, and you'll also come up with better prayers. You'll be in a better state of mind. Things like reality creation and manifesting sort of tie into that as well. So having a better connection to God is amazing. It can bring such a peace of mind, harmony in your life. If you have a better connection to God, like the benefits of that, having a better connection to God could almost be a video in of itself. You could talk endlessly about that. So there we have it. If you're interested in opening your third eye, take this video, look into everything that I spoke about. You can look into all of the best practices, what to avoid, get into the benefits, and just really enjoy having a heightened human experience from having an open third eye. I believe our enemies know about the power that we have in these centers in our mind, and a lot of energy is spent trying to lock this part of us down because they don't want us tapping into our higher powers, because that's how we actually truly win this. Activism's all well and good, right? And it has its place. But ultimately, to win this in the long term, we need evolved humans. And a big part of that is the third eye. And I believe they know that. And I believe there's many avenues that they're trying to attack us, attack our third eye. There are definitely more things you can do to open your third eye. And there are definitely more things to avoid for third eye self-care. However, that will wrap up this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and get that third eye opened. Take some third eye love. Have some third eye self-care. Awesome.